Under Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco has widely been considered one of the most dynamic offenses across the entire league. But if one piece were missing, it would have to be the speed element in their passing game. And while Danny Gray still may develop into this role, they also brought back another speedster who really had a significant impact on playoff games last year. Chris Conley. So in this video, I wanted to dive deeper into the player he is by examining his athletic profile, his career up to this point, and break down his most recent year's film. And this is all in hopes of understanding what he'll offer San Francisco going into next season. Starting out athletically, Chris Conley is legitimately a freak of nature. He comes in at 6'2", weighing 215 pounds. But get this, he ran his 40-yard dash in 4.35 seconds and his 10-yard split in 1.52 seconds. But his most impressive feat might be his vertical jump of over 45 inches, which is third in NFL Combine history. Really, if you were to ask a mad scientist to build an NFL wide receiver, you probably would end up getting a player like Conley. But while his physical attributes are impressive, so is his career up to this point. Chris Conley was born in Adana, Turkey on October 25th, 1992. He eventually moved back to the States though, where he played high school football at North Paulding High School in Georgia. During his senior year alone, he had over 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. 24/7 Sports noticed the long-limbed speedster and had him ranked as a 4-star recruit. With basically his choice of where he wanted to play college football, he decided to stay close to home and went to the University of Georgia. And from 2011 to 2014 with the Bulldogs, he amassed nearly 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. And while those numbers might seem a little bit low, Conley found himself in an offense dominated by the ground game, so he didn't nearly see the amount of opportunities as, let's say, an air raid offense would have given him. But when Conley did get opportunities, he made the absolute most out of them. When you look at his average yards per reception, for instance, it was 17.3 over his course of his career with the Bulldogs. That's absolutely insane. After averaging nearly a player limited by a run-heavy offense that he was in, and while he flashed athleticism, to become a true starter in the league, he needed strength and refinement in his routes. Most considered him though an early day 2 selection. And in the 2015 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Conley in the 3rd round with pick 12. And from 2015 to 2019 with the Chiefs, he picked up over 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns. For the next 2 years, Conley played with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he accumulated over 1,200 yards and 7 more touchdowns. He then moved on from the Texans from 2021 to 2022, amassing over 300 yards. Then he jumped around to the Titans before signing with San Francisco. During his first year with San Francisco, I think we saw what many scouts were excited for with him coming out of college. So now moving into year 2, we could really see his role expand. To really highlight this, I want to examine how Conley really started to come on later on in the year. His breakout game had to be against the Rams, but it was where he stood out that was most impressive to me. When we're watching a play like this is before the second half, and Sam Darnold is trying to drive down the field for the touchdown. Conley does a great job with his route, fooling this defender, and thanks to his speed, he's able to catch this and then works his way deep down the field. And this is the type of play that I think Kyle Shanahan can feasibly mix in a little bit more down the road. If he feels comfortable with Conley, then having a couple of these a game, if Conley gets open just once, well, goodbye. But the best part about Conley is you don't need to just run him on deep routes. Over the course of his career, I think he's really improved as a route runner. On a simple play like this, it's just like a curl route, but he does a great job of finding the soft spot in the zone and then just getting comfortable and making himself a friendly target to Sam Darnold. One thing about these fast receivers I've noticed, often they don't have the best hands, especially when they're getting hit. But Conley, in a similar way to his college days, does a nice job here getting absolutely smashed by this defender, but somehow he's able to hold on and pick up a pretty sizable gain. But it wasn't just Conley in the passing game that impressed me, it was also his potential in the running game. On a play like this, for instance, it's a fake jet sweep. But in the future, let's say if this defender doesn't freeze on Conley, then the quarterback might have an option to hand it off. Or at least that's one design Kyle Shanahan can work in for Chris Conley to add another dimension to this offense. But the real reason why I think Kyle Shanahan will be more likely to mix him in on this offense is what he did during the playoff games. When his number was called, he showed out in a big way. When we're watching this play, for instance, from this Packers game, I want to focus how this is in the fourth quarter. Brock Purdy's trying to drive for the game lead. And when you're watching Conley's route, he does a great job of selling it like he's going to fake inside, and he even gets the defender to turn. And as soon as he gets him to turn, he breaks back outside, and thanks to his speed and the timing Brock Purdy has, he picks this up, and I think this is a way in which he could be extremely beneficial to San Francisco this upcoming year. And Kyle Shanahan, I think, also noticed that moving into the playoffs, so he decided to start mixing them in more on plays like this. And Conley, in a similar way, is able to utilize his speed to really challenge this defender. And you have to respect it, because if you stay flat-footed like this Chiefs defender, Conley can burn you in a variety of ways. Sure, he can do his little post pattern he did, but even in the future, he could just run past this guy. For Conley's first year in San Francisco's offense, he definitely didn't put up insane numbers, but as the year went on, so did his role expand. So going into this offseason, I think Kyle Shanahan could be looking at his role he had in the playoffs as maybe not enough, so he brought him back and could be designing plays to really challenge defenses. And if you're able to mix in the speed element to this passing game, it could be lights out next year. Brock Purdy will continue to develop, and having that added speed will really challenge defenses over the top. But the next step, they have Conley and maybe another wide receiver via the draft. Overall though, these are just my thoughts about San Francisco bringing back Chris Conley, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton if you liked and subscribe, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.